Okay, welcome back to Questionable Scale Modeling, and this is kind of an update on the Rally Cool rally car build. And here is my Ford Focus, and it's painted. I did not have any white primer, so I used gray primer, so I had to do a little bit more white to cover the gray, but I really don't like, I like white primer, but when you're using white primer over a white body, it can be a little difficult to figure out where you've already sprayed and how much more you need to cover. So even if I do use a white primer, I usually will put gray primer on first and then cover it with the white primer, then paint. Anyway, so this is decanted Tamiya TS26, which is their, I believe that's called True White or Pure White, something like that. Probably about 3 or 4 coats. There's quite a bit of junk in the paint, but it's going to get covered with decals, and I'm not really looking for perfection. But now it's time to paint the blue. Real quick before we talk more about painting the blue, I did do quite a bit of scribing on the panel lines. Uh, the hood, obviously, where the bumpers come together. I kind of went a little bit too deep on the bumpers because, let's be honest, the gap between your fender and your hood should be more than the gap between your bumper and your fender. That should be pretty tight. So just a couple of passes, if that, should be sufficient. Uh, However, on this one, there was no gap between the front grille and the bumper, which is a separate part. So I actually had to scribe that out a little bit, and you can see the line right there that I scribed out carefully. And of course, the doors. And on the back, where the bumper meets the hatch, that didn't really have much of a line at all, so I scribed that as well. And this piece here, this bottom, I'm sure that's a plastic piece that goes attaches to the bottom of the bumper. I put a scribe on that as well because well, I thought originally it was going to be painted black, but it's not. It's actually body color. But that's okay. So the other thing I did is I went ahead and glued this spoiler on because there's really not much holding it. Just a couple of tabs underneath that hold that spoiler in place. You can kind of see them. I decided to go ahead and permanently glue it because super glue is not going to hold that, and that's going to be something easy to break off. I did make sure that the back glass fits underneath it without any problem, so no problem. All right, so the blue. There's a section of blue here. There's a section of blue here. And then there's some blue over on this area and this area. And it's all separated by stripes of various types. There's also blue here and here, and some on the headlights. And, well, I was going to grab the box, but anyway, so we're going to start here. What I did to mask this off is I took the decal sheet, which is right here, and I did a black and white photocopy of the decal sheet, and using a Sharpie, I did that. I made paint masks for this. I took all these shapes, darkened them up. I ran it through my computer uh, and cut. Of course, you can't see it because it won't show up, but there, right here, is all those shapes cut off of my Silhouette cutter, and we're going to use those for our dividing line because those decals are going to cover up the paint, the where the paint comes together. So let's see what we can do here. So the first thing we need to figure out where everything's going to go is we're going to concentrate on this spot right here where that Ford emblem is, because that decal is right there, and that kind of X pattern there, one goes this way, one goes that way. Well, that's all white, and then it goes up, and over here it's blue. So that's going to make us a really nice line for our blue paint. So let's get started. And find that X on here. It's kind of hard to see. Now it doesn't actually have to be too perfect because our decal is going to cover any places where it wasn't actually put on the right. At least that's my plan. So this actually goes, if I can get this right, I'm going to look at the decals as well. So that's going to go on here like so. And if this tears, I'm going to be screwed. Gosh. All right, let me change glasses. Let's get off that. I'm going to try to keep this to where you can see it. Come on. I'm going to try that. And that. Of course, my dog's barking upstairs, but I'm hoping when I get everything edited, nobody will hear that. We need a toothpick so we can run this down into this line. There we go. But we don't want to break the tape. I would say that is very well spot on. All right, there's one mask done. So the next one we need is going to be, this is at 8. Yep, we need 8. Looks like 8 and 4. So 8 is going to be, let's do it this direction. 8 is down here. Hope this doesn't take too much time. Let's see. What direction is that going? I think it's going this way. Really hard to tell. that actually goes, ooh, there it is. I think it goes underneath like that. Maybe. Let's see. One of these days I need to buy some better tweezers. Because the ends don't quite line up correctly. I think that's how that goes. But boy, is it hard to tell. I think it would make a lot more sense. We're going to go with it. If it's wrong, maybe I'll just dip the whole thing and start over. Alright, let's get this other one. I see the potential for a lot of bleed through. So hopefully we can avoid that. Don't know if I like that. I really don't like getting knives close to fresh paintwork. Come on. I don't know if I like that either. This may take a while. Go grab some popcorn. What I say. This may not be the best way to do this. But they want you to paint the blue. And you got to kind of know where that blue's going to be. Screw it. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. One of the problems is the cutters, as good as they are, sometimes they don't cut the precise line unless your reference material is spot on perfect. And when you're taking photographs, or excuse me, photocopies of decals, my copier at least, the image is not really that crisp and clean. So it does, the border of the decals gets a bit fuzzy. And I'm sure that affects things. All right. So next we need 5 and 9. Okay, I'm back. Where did my... Oh, there they are. Okay, I had to go take care of dogs. So we need 9, which was that. Take that one off the sheet. So that one goes. That should go right there, I think. Nope, not good enough. This will be so much easier when the decals, with the decals. And I'm still off by just a little bit. Ooh, that might have it right there. Gotta move my light. Sorry, it's gonna get in the way, but gotta look at it. All right, that might be close enough. Let's see where it lands over here. It's a little, you know what? Why don't we overlap them a bit? I wonder if we're supposed to. You know what? I think we'll be all right. Now we'll grab 5, which is on the other side. That one's actually a little short. Huh. That's okay. Because I actually have an idea. Well, I don't know. I'm going to stick with my plan. Okay, so now we need, looks like 10. Okay. Let's grab 10. And the other one's going to be 6. All right, so this one needs to go. Come on. I don't think I've ever had this much trouble with stripes. There, I think that's got it. This one, if I did this right, it should land where this little light is. Please let it. Ooh, we are off by a mile. We are way off. Well, let's try this. Boy, that's way off. Of course, it's quite possible that my Cricut didn't, or my, not Cricut. Actually, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that's lining up pretty good. Okay, now we need the other side. Don't like it when tape gets that curve in it, because then you can't place it anywhere with any accuracy. Okay, let's try that. Ooh, that lined up fairly well. Okay, whew. Now we need 11 and 7. These are going to be really small. And I guarantee you these did not cut the right shape. Not precisely, anyway. But basically, I got this. Oh, wait. Is that right? I'm supposed to have two curves to it. I don't know if that's right at all. Nope. It goes the other way. Goes that way. Hmm. Well, let's see what the other side looks like. Okay, this side actually cut a little better. Like that. That's about, that looks pretty even. Okay, so that stripe is done. Now for the long swooping side ones. That's going to be the real test. So this is going to go, oops. I think it goes right on top of that. See if it lands in the right spot. Come on. Let's see what the box art shows. See how close I am. That's actually not too bad. I think, though, get a side profile. Hmm. Don't think. Let's see. That's not really going as far as I thought it would. Maybe I need to lower it. Or raise it. Looks like I've got it right in the right spot. Crap. Now I've got this thing making all kinds of twists and turns. Come on. Yeah. I am lined up with the door jamb, or the door panel. Well, that's going a lot better. So now we're going to set it inside the bottom of the door. Then we're going to lift it a little bit so it conforms with this mid door crease, like so. Oh, that is nearly perfect. Wow. All right, that worked a lot better. Again, we're going to set it into the door panel. And that is done. All right, cool. Let's do the other side. Okay. Had to take a look at my phone for a second. Damn. Come on. I wish all these little pieces of whatever it is floating in the air would quit dropping on my car. Ooh, that is way off. Well, shoot. Got the angle way off. But we can reset it. Now it's too short. How about a happy medium? Damn it. Not enough. Nope. Well, part of my problem is that. Let's just stick that right there for now. Now that looks, I don't know if it's better, but damn it. I think it didn't cut the right way. Well, maybe it did. Hang on. Let's try this again. It's still kind of off. Oh, it is way off. Hope you're still with me. If it were me, I would have fast forward a long time ago. Nope. It didn't do it either. Wow. The first one went on fairly easily. this one is not. It's either too much or too little. That looks promising. All right. It looks fairly. Eh, I'm going to try making this one more time. I just need to adjust it just a tad. Like where that bend is. Right about there. Wow, I think that's as close as I'm going to get it. Yep. That's as close as that's going to get. So, got my panel lines in. Okay, so that's done. Now, the top. Let's look at the top. So I don't need to do any masking on the top because there is one decal that's supposed to match up, or the blue is supposed to be up here on one decal, and I have that decal on here, don't I? Huh. Apparently, I guess, oh, I know what I took it out because I knew I wasn't going to make a mask of it, so I didn't actually use it. Well, that's fine. But let's do this. Let me see if I can find that piece. Let's see if it actually fits where it says it's going to fit. Get my scissors. This is also a good way of test fitting decals to make sure they're actually going to fit where they're supposed to. That out of the way. All right. That off. that one off. Trim there. And we'll trim there. So now this should lay down this direction. Gonna go right there. I think I'm gonna put a little piece of tape there. Hold it in place while we do our little test fit. Just happen to have a piece of tape right here. That should be middle point. Right there. All right. We got it taped down. So that should go all the way to the window edge. And it does. And that one, yep. That decal is exactly where it's supposed to be. So that's a good sign. So all the blue on top of here are all decals, including this one here for the spoiler. Oh, I'm out of focus, or I'm off camera. So anyway, there's that one. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to get these blue areas here masked and actually paint them. But then it come to find out this is two separate decals, which is concerning to me. So we're going to try this and see what happens. So which one's which? We'll start with, I think that one. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this is lining up at all. I do know that it's got to start right on the edge. We're going to call it right there. But that's not good enough because it's got to cover that port. I wish you could pull this freaking tape to where it doesn't curl like that. It's really annoying. It doesn't go all the way. It's barely catching the edge. Damn it. That shows. Let's try that. Well, it makes it all the way to the fender, but I sure thought there was going to be. That doesn't look right at all. It kind of does. Let's see what the other one that goes with it. That it would be 14, which is here. So according to this, this should line up right next to the other one. Which is exactly why I wanted to paint this. It's exactly like that. Holy crap. Because you see this wrinkle right here? That's your decal. Now you're going to need some serious solution to get that unwrinkled without affecting the script. And I think cutting the lettered portion out and doing it separately is going to be a lot easier than doing that. So we just need to make a slight adjustment here. I think that looks good enough there. No, I think we need to be higher, to be honest. Here, let's leave that where it is.